Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at Lone Ruin, the review of why you need to play this, add it to your collection really. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe and all that jazz if you haven't already. Now without further ado, let's have a look. Our friends at Super Rare Games are kicking off 2023 by publishing Lone Ruin, a twin-stick roguelite game by Hans Ram, creator of Hell is Other Demons. Let's check out why this game has bewitched me and why you should check it out. A massive thanks to Super Rare Games for the review copy and to Hans for answering my questions for this review. The story sees an adept explorer who seeks the fabled power within the ruined city. Legends speak of the inhabitants that once lived there in harmony, wielded great magic. Not much else is known about this place, other than the city is now laying in ruins and is home to horrendous creatures. The explorer must use as many spells and agility to progress further within the Lone Ruins. The developer was influenced by games like Nuclear Throne and The Tiny Wizard, and when asked on what is his favorite thing about Lone Ruin, is that there's no grind, that he respects the player's time and wanted it to be a jump in and have a short fun experience. And true to his word, it's exactly that. This is a spell-based twin-stick shooter with roguelite and arcade mechanics with zero padding. You begin your run with your character arriving at the entrance of the ruins and being greeted by a tall, hooded, shadowy figure who will offer you one of 8 spells. These are quite varied and play very differently from each other, albeit all have a cooldown penalty when depleted. There are more spells to find within the ruins, and your character can carry a maximum of 3 offensive and defensive spells. You'll be outnumbered, but never outspelled, or whatever its spell casting equivalent is. Once a player enters an area, they will have to defeat the waves of enemies that appear on screen whilst avoiding and evading incoming attacks. Once they have been defeated, you'll be able to choose one of 2 paths, each with a symbol of the next room's reward. This helps the player plan ahead and decide on where to go. It doesn't make the gameplay any easier though, as the rewards appear once the room is cleared from monsters. The game here is very fast paced and satisfying, mainly due to the simple controls and the fluidity at which the character moves around the level. The evasive dash, for example, is not limited to elevations within the environment, meaning that one button press can cause the player to dash up platforms, where the monsters cannot reach you immediately. It's the video game equivalent of seeing a spider and jumping on a chair. Like all other actions within the game, the dash also has a cooldown. But the dash can also be improved with spells that can cause to leave a trail of ice, for example. So you can use the dash as an extra way of evading and attacking at the same time. Enemies come in all shapes and sizes, with some being particularly dangerous in big numbers, and it can be easy to get overwhelmed, especially in survival mode. Defeating them will reward the player with gold that can be used to buy spells when you reach a shop. There are also items known as blessings that have passive effects scattered in each run. There are only a few slots available to carry these blessings, but luckily the game allows for either spells or blessings to be sold if you don't need them or need to make room for newly found ones. Luckily, the game allows for either spells or blessings to be sold if you don't need them or need to make room for newly found ones. Within the pause menu, you can select and sell what you don't need by holding the X button, and poof, money in your account. As with other roguelites, when choosing a newfound spell or blessing, the player can pick from 3 different boons, such as decreased cooldown or higher damage output. There are 2 game modes with different levels of difficulty to choose from, these being from easiest to hardest, and you will feel the pain in the hardest mode. The main game plays much like a story mode of sorts, where the player must complete 21 levels to win. Then there's survival mode that will test your concentration and dexterity, with each wave of enemies getting bigger and harder to defeat. If you die, your score can be submitted to an online scoreboard. I really enjoyed the gameplay here, as it is quite a unique twin-stick roguelite with arcade pick up and play mechanics. The more a spell gets upgraded during a run, the more powerful it becomes at the beginning of the next run. Chose the lightning spell and was happy to see that I could use it in my next playthrough with an added upgrade. This really encourages the player to try out different combinations of spells and try to upgrade their power as much as possible. What really separates this from similar games in the genre is the simple gameplay mechanics, which can be played by anyone. There is no padding here whatsoever, and all the attention has been concentrated on being a fun pick up and play game, which is refreshing to see, as with the market being oversaturated by roguelites of all kinds, it's nice to have a game that respects players' time. The developer has used a specific palette to bring this sombre world to life, consisting of indigos, pinks and purples contrasting against the cyan and blue spells and lighting effects. There are a few cutscenes, but they are truly beautiful pixel art images with a little animation and that pan in different directions in order to give them a dash of life. My only critique is the lack of variety when it comes to the scenery, but that is a personal observation. Some of the pixel perfect visuals really pop out of the screen, especially on an OLED screen, and I really liked the hints of fog and the waterfall effects, not to mention the spells that have a certain fluidity when cast, and they really do have this fluidity that it makes them look very organic. Enemy designs are imaginative enough as well, with each looking more gruesome than the next. There were no frame rate issues here, and the game has a decent font size. Before we go any further, I want to give Alfred Ram a massive shout out for the soundtrack, as it's probably one of the best I've ever heard in a roguelike. Clearing waves of abominations to the sound of bombastic drum and bass is the best combo since chocolate and peanut butter. The game will cost £12.99 or your regional equivalent, and has a small download size of 563 megabytes. There are currently no physical copies available, but with Super Rare Games publishing this, it's only a matter of time for it to be announced. The quality here is pretty impressive and there's a lot to enjoy. It will cater to all kinds of players, ranging from the score junkies to those looking for a cathartic game to blow off some steam, at a great price too. As a personal fan of these kind of games, I can truly say that my long month with the review code has been an absolute blast. Although the gameplay can become repetitive at times, there are enough loadouts and game modes to keep you coming back for more, and having an online scoreboard will definitely have the most competitive of gamers who spend a lot of hours attempting to perfect each run, coming back for more. If you have ever wanted to experience this genre at its best but was too intimidated to try, this is a good game to start. Do yourself a favor and grab this on the Nintendo Switch or Steam when it comes out. Green Wolf Games is awarding Lone Ruin an enchanting 9 out of 10. If you're still watching this, thank you so much. It really helps with the retention, which is much needed for this channel. Jokes aside, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share with friends. Let me know what you think about the review, about the game. I honestly think that this is a game that must be in everyone's library. I want to give a massive thanks to Hans Ram for answering the questions to help with this review, and also to Super Rare Games for thinking of me when it came to reviewing this awesome game. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Buy this game. And see you in the next one. Peace.